What if a song could save a dying land? In Copper for a Song, the heroes arrive in the coastal town of Promise, where the once fertile crimson soil of God's breath is failing and the harvest is growing worse every year. The locals believe the answer lies in the Awakening Song, an ancient melody whose verses recount the history of the land. But several of these verses have been lost. To restore the soil, the characters must track down those missing verses and decipher clues hidden in another song by speaking to chatty locals and uncovering the truth behind a copper dragon, who may or may not even know about the song. Now I want to go ahead and mention that we've already covered this area in one of my other guides, in Journey Through the Radiant Citadel, which you might not have seen unless you're a member, because that's where they are. It's just £5 a month if you want to join. In that adventure anyway, another song causes havoc in God's Breath area. Now that adventure, written in blood, is for level 3 characters, but you could run it together as a nice kind of warm-up to this one at level 12. You know, you can tweak the challenge rating monsters if you want. It really isn't hard to make them both work as a pair. Anyway, back to this. It's pretty bland, and copper dragons are good-natured, aren't they? So it doesn't really sing exciting climax ahead. But as a DM, we get to change all that, so stick around and see my alterations. It even starts off by saying this can be for one player, particularly a bard. So again, alarm bells are ringing if you're trying to run it with a party, but you're a DM, you can make it better. Now a quick note on the setting that you're imagining. Arid Crimson Earth is where it's set, so dig out your appropriate maps. I'd be using Loki Battle Mats, for example. I've done a playlist on Loki Battle Mats and I've got an affiliate link in the description. So it's hot and humid during the day. You might call for some heat exhaustion rolls or dehydration rules. There are forest areas nearby, along with sea area. So I imagine morning mists might creep in due to the temperature changes. The ribbon is desolate farmland. The rattle is where the monsters hide, in the shadows. And then we go underground into a dragon's lair. So what are the regional effects of an adult copper dragon? 5.5 rules suggests that within as much as 6 miles of a lair, tiny beasts magically gain the ability to speak and understand Draconic. So have some small, talking, animal, interactive fun. Then from 1 mile away, roll a d20. And on a 1, they make a wisdom save of 15. Can I just say, do away with the d20 roll and make your players roll? And on a fail, they are incapacitated through giggling fits. I mean, I'd throw a little mediocre encounter at around the 1 mile away zone and have them roll to have giggling fits while they're in combat. Maybe have them roll only if they miss an attack, and then we can move on. Copper dragons typically inhabit caves and renovated ruins. So if you added a ruin overground, you could have them searching for the lair entrance itself and have a crazy NPC or regular combat before they have to descend into the lair. And they find things dead from acid breath attacks. So let's just backtrack a little bit. Get them to your homebrewed area or Nightwater Cove. They are following an invitation from Proclaimer Tungsten Ward, who works at a temple in the town of Promise, which is known as the Listening Post. She will wave upon seeing them, come over and welcomes them. Since the invite spoke about coming to find a song, it's not going to be much surprise that she hands them these scrolls each with a song on them as well. Show the players this song and let them read it out loud. I like the idea of rolling a d20 and having that much copper magically appear from the scrolls for each player, just to denote that songs mean magic here. The scroll's song here, it is believed, has clues, and you decipher it by showing it to the locals and getting their opinion. We get 5 NPCs with information, so I'd have another 5 NPCs who can't actually help. Here are 5 dead ends that I've added. Brenna Two Kegs runs a small ale stall. Old Toman is a shepherd, wandering around muttering about monsters and omens. Lissa Quick Pockets is a trader, darting around carrying packages. Brother Halron is a travelling priest who is trying to spread his faith. And Fenric, who sells old maps and travel guides. The whole point is that they get pointed across the ribbon and 4 miles into the rattle, which means one long rest, while they're on edge in a monstery forest, until they find an old copper mine. The journey is 20 miles if you track that kind of thing. I'm more of a 3 scenes a day than a rest kind of DM. Then you roll or choose some scenes to fill out the travel. 1. Echoes of Melodies as the wind whistles through crops of stone monuments. 2. Your classic road bandits ambush. 3. A roadside shrine to a harvest god, with Brother Arlo repairing it, refreshing the offerings. 4. They discover giant footprints, that's just foreshadowing. And 5. There's a fox who can lead them to a satchel with a bit of gold and a map and some copper nuggets. Then they'll discover the copper mine for themselves. They'll find a dead boulette who has been killed and half eaten by an adult copper dragon. Maybe they can just tell that acid damage killed it. At this point, they can go straight down into the lair perhaps. Oh wait, what is that sound? Burping and laughing? 6 hill giants camp here, and you could put the entrance to the lair officially behind the giants. I just like choices. There's also 2 axe beaks to look out for, which could work as an alarm for the giants. Now the characters will see copper deposits sticking out of stone bits. Now it's basically time to see how they handle this giant interaction. The giants start as hostile. A hill giant, AC 13, 100 and plus health, speed 40 foot because they're tall. They only speak giant. 2 attacks using tree club or trash lob. Tree club plus 8, 10 foot reach, 18 bludgeoning. Knocks you prone. Trash lob, like you can pick up anything. Plus 8, launches it at you. 16 bludgeoning, and you're poisoned because it's trash. If it's not trash, then it's not poisoned. The loot is 3 dragon sacks worth of goods, including most notably a +2 shield. Entering the lair, music from below in the form of wood chimes emanates out from an unknown source or even direction. There are various breakout roofs, which you can picture as emergency fire door exits. They're structurally solid, more of a break in case of danger kind of thing. And using this map you can find the different ways in they can choose, and it's 10 feet per square. Area 1, that music can be heard, and steps possibly lead down into darkness. 2, 3 and 4 are alternative cave mouths. 5. A room of different sized rocks becomes alarming once 3 of the largest ones seem to come to life, speaking in primordial. Bet none of your players chose primordial, did they? So if they don't speak the language, you can have the Galeb Dur mime that they want to throw rocks in a competition. You, me, throw. Then it's rock throwing time. Mechanics, a stone marker of an odd coloured stone sits 30 feet away. You roll athletics. The distance is 10 feet plus the roll in feet. Everyone is flavoured to throw a substantially heavy rock in comparison to their body size. The closest to the 30-foot marker wins. Best of 3, maybe. A crit is a perfect throw, and that one doesn't count as the thing gets thrown and rolls down a hill, or just breaks in half. Galeb Dur AC 16, 123 health, moves at 60 feet when rolling in a ball, only speaks Terran. Avalanche Slam, plus 8, 12 bludgeoning. It does extra damage if it rolled towards you, another 7, and you're prone. Animate boulders. It can animate 2 boulders within 60 feet, and they also have Galeb Dur stat blocks. It's a good way to dial up and down the challenge. But I will warn you that there's more Galeb Dur in this cave system, and I don't like reusing the same thing over and over. Let me know what you've done to fix that, if anything. 6. Kobolds chattering in Draconic, discussing a clay creation that they've made, and how good or bad it is. A light source interrupts any discourse. 7 winged kobolds have constructed an effigy of a dragon out of clay. These kobolds are indifferent, and while they do have names in the book, Drix, Grox, Kex, Mox, Nix, Prax and Zox, I find it much easier and clearer to refer to them with a physical attribute or objects on them. If I said patch, scar, boots, stick, one eye, filthy and short snout, you've got more of a picture already, haven't you? Snout hits you, scar slings a stone at you, you can picture that. Helping the kobold more accurately sculpt the clay will make them more friendly. They're making it for Nakari, an art appreciating dragon, and the info will come out that she's been raising 2 little green dragons and has a few magical secret doors in this cave, which the kobolds know where they are, but they don't know how to get in them. In fact, the kobolds know 3 out of 4 secret door locations. For those doors, I imagine that magic users just do a DC 10 Arcana to suss out the fairly easy way to get past them. Area 7. In here are 3 piles of assorted loot, made from collected shinies and offerings from the locals that have come in reverence, or fear. There are signs marking the piles, but they're written in Draconic, signifying keep, trade and dump. The floor itself has malted copper scales all over it. Taking from any of these piles causes a whirlwind of the discarded copper scales. To force a deck save where you take 6d something, I'll put it there, slashing. If no one speaks Draconic, it might be an idea to physically write out the 3 piles worth of goods and ask each player which pile it goes to, so that you can't hear someone over there say, oh, I found this decent item, and then someone at the back go, oh, I'll have that. No, you're not near the pile. Area 8. It's another boulder room that has 3 more Galebdur singing. The singing vibrates the floors and walls a little bit, and if the PCs are spotted, the Galebdur rise their voices to a crescendo, shaking the room in a worrying shudder. Possible rolls to fall prone. Once the players have gone, the singing goes to a lower volume. Just a bit of weird flavour, really. 9. There's a strange sweet smell in here. DC 15 wisdom save to avoid becoming incapacitated from that laughing gas. I'd like a fail to give them 1 level of exhaustion from stomach cramp from laughing a lot. Just maybe once per room. 10. Further laughing gas. So ask for another save. A genie called Lashlow sits on cushions holding a gold chalice, awaiting an audience with Nakari. And the genie will open with a statement about queue jumpers and that she's next to meet the dragon. And Lashlow has become annoyed through waiting, and her irritability requires that she is spoken to very delicately and politely. Lashlow is here to trade stories and songs. A genie is AC 17, 218 health, can fly for 90 feet, immune to lightning, thunder. Speaks Auran. Advantage on saves against spells. I'd leave out the wish knowledge if I were you. Makes 3 attacks. Stormblade plus 9, 12 slashing, 7 lightning. Stormbolt plus 9, 13 thunder, knocks you prone. Can create a whirlwind. Make a strength save, you become restrained. 21 thunder damage at the start of each turn. Knows a few spells. I say don't use wish because it's often a game breaker. I mean, you do you, obviously. Or on the other hand, it could become a really good scene where they're begging the genie to give them something through wish. But just beware. She actually also carries a wand of lightning bolts, which has 7 charges of the spell at level 3's output. And for an extra charge, you can do a level higher's version of it. Area 11. Okay, I really must step in here. It says 3 more Galebdur. No, put something else here. Anything. Carrion crawler. Ankheg, or no monster, just have like a spiral of these little stone monuments going to the middle. And with a DC 13 Arcana or Investigation, they realise the stones are conductors of sound, like they carry whispers through rock. Roll a d6, and if they whisper onto one, then one of these things happens. Area 12. The kobolds know where the secret doors are, if you remember. Inside is a 2-section room, which just has a slab of granite in the back. Nothing to see here, except for the invisible human in suspended animation, who Nakari is hiding because she felt emotional over Yemi's plight. Oh yeah, this is Yemi. I would say who cares, but she was a musician in a group called The Key. Who cares? Yeah, but she knows all the lost verses, so she could be useful. And if she knows all the Awakening song, then take Yemi, go home, job done. She wears a glass necklace and holds a harp, which is a magic item. Disturbing either of these breaks the suspended animation. So yeah, just get her to tell you all the lost verses and go home. Well, you know, that's probably the bit about it only needs 1 bard to do this. But there's a chance the players don't find Yemi. You know, can't get into the secret door. So we must continue with these rooms to finish the module. 13. A purple worm bursts up through the floor. This is not a fight to the death combat. It's a drive-by biting, even if you have your 1 lone bad PC. Of course, there's dangers that the worm can bite and swallow them up, but that's D&D, baby. Maybe fudge the rolls if this is unagreeable to you. 14. Here's another room of 3 Galebdur that I don't want to run. I'm offering a dire owlbear from Tome of Beasts 3 by Kobold Press. Use my affiliate link to get their goods. Link in description. Dwarves bred these for their ferocity and toughness. The PCs can choose to fight or choose to flee, I'm just saying. AC 15, just over 100 health, can burrow. Has advantage with melee on injured people. A attacks with beak for 10 piercing, attacks with claws for 14 slashing. It's just different. Oh, there's a dead gnome over there. Maybe a speak with dead spell could help. Oh, they didn't take that spell. Okay. But if they did... Ah, my name's Gleen Happenbolt. I came here searching for riches after seeing a copper dragon enter, but I got cornered by an owlbear. Lay my body to rest in a mining settlement north of the Rattle. He carries a +1 war pick. He also has gems stuffed in one boot. Area 15. Roll for laughing gas to weaken the party, just ahead of a fight, or just for a bit of fun to pass the time. Area 16. A secret door that even the kobolds do not know about. Once they try and get in to this door, they hear a voice from Nakari say, "Join me in my den." But inside 16, the tunnel slowly goes down to a mound of coins and art items. Taking 10 minutes of rifling through these piles, they find a notebook held closed with string. It's called Verses of the Awakening Song, and the dragon will protect this book with its life. And on that note, if they break in here ignoring the polite dragon's invitation, then... I mean, that sounds fun to run. Let me know if you need videos for each monster and how I'd run them. I don't think you do. I think you do it your way and that's just good. 17. An audience with Nakari is much better if they have Yemi at their side. It's a matter of convincing the dragon. They just want the verses and that's it. 2 green dragons act protectively, but are under Nakari's command. There's an exit in one of those weak roofs for all 3 dragons if they need it. Now, Natari tells the green dragons, Retta and Rin, to go to their room if combat is about to start, but you could have their nature kick in if Nakari is about to die. If the book is taken and returned safely, you can throw the party some sending stones as a reward, or something a little more exciting. Area 18, the Wormling's Den, is where the green dragons will just fight whoever enters, but upon becoming blooded, they'll flee. Could we make this den a little bit more memorable? Do the acoustics trigger illusions of past performances of songs? Does Nakari also have a different song in the Horde, a legendary ballad, which makes the PCs curious about, but they have no reason to be allowed to claim that? I like performance checks in front of the dragon, such as the PCs having to tell a joke, sing a song, do a dance, etc. and have the players get advantage if they really do it at your table. I hope that helps, and I'll see you next session.